Wait, that was a preamble. Oh. Hey, I'm DJ Eshelman. Welcome to another one of my office hours. This week, we're talking largely about IT careers and various options, mindsets within that. And so, welcome today. I want to put up on. Oh, did I figure out how to do this? No, I did not. I need to redo this. So, I wanted to put up on the screen a way to join me live because these are office hours. I want to be able to have that. So you can just use the QR code on there. And I'm actually going to try and put this onto the various platforms as a chat message as well. So there's a URL here you can use, and I'll probably have to put up multiple times, but to join live. So if you want to join me here in the studio and we can talk, it's absolutely fine. The only thing you need to know is that you need to have your camera on and your microphone, and you need to be willing to share your deepest, most innermost secrets. And no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's what we do today. So anyway, welcome. Again, my name is DJ Eshelman. I am a IT guy. um, so yeah, it's kind of one of those weird things where when you say you work in IT, half the people wonder if you're like a programmer or something like that. And I don't know any programmers. Like I know literally hundreds of people in information technology. Actually, hundreds. I know thousands of people in information technology, and I don't know a single programmer. I don't think. Maybe I do. I don't know. But yeah, it's just like one of those things where it's just like it's this misinformation, or not misinformation, misunderstanding with people. So who I serve specifically, just to be clear, is people that are in information technology services. These are people that administer servers and make sure that people's desktops are working properly. They answer trouble calls. They do these things to keep information technology running, whether that be from the, like we were talking about yesterday, we had a bunch of talk about the various roles within that, various things like that. So yeah, it's something where we can look at that one. I suppose I got the replay up on YouTube, which, by the way, if you're not following me on YouTube right now, that would be a good thing for you to do. Let me put up the link here. Link for YouTube. This is probably one of the best ways to get notifications is if you hit the little bell icon when you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It lets you know when I'm live. I've been pretty consistent this week, but as I'm recording this and looking up at my count of who is here live with me, it is a goose egg. So getting notifications, getting through the noise is getting increasingly difficult. In fact, I was told this morning that people on LinkedIn aren't even seeing this go live or whatever. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm in a frustrated state right now. I'm frustrated about the things that are having to happen to get this message out, because I really want people to hear and see this, but lo and behold, yeah, it's not even. Yeah, no, it is telling people I'm live on LinkedIn. So your excuse is invalid. Now, whether it's saying that I'm going live, I have tried to post this as much as I can to let people know that it's happening, but there's only so much I can do. So let's see. Yeah, in fact, so I'm troubleshooting this live thing. Um, so whatever, y'all. Honestly, my goal, my purpose in the world is to try and leave this world better than I found it. That is my purpose. That is my goal. So honestly, when it comes to that, anything that helps me accomplish that is usually good. And so sometimes it is just these moments of just talking to what feels like no one and hoping that they'll get somehow inspired to look at the replay of it or whatever. And so that is what we do, right? Sometimes you just have to be willing to put forward that message and just do it. So right now, yeah, okay, sorry. I have these chat messages going on. I need to shut this down and say no more Slack I am live all by myself and can't do both. Yes, that is the way of things. So anyway, yeah, I've given you all the reasons in the world to subscribe to our YouTube channel, right? Yeah, definitely get more of this. All right, let's reset. Let's get back into here. So in fact, I was actually just thinking about this. Like, what do I want to talk about today? What did I want to talk about? Honestly, that's why I had the link to join me live there. Is the hope is that I'm just talking about what you need. We do have a thing going on right now that's a massive promotion that people tend to have questions about. So I wanted to make sure that I was open for that for anybody that has questions that they can certainly pop in and ask those questions. I'll try and keep an eye on the chat as well as I see people popping in and out here. But it looks like um, that those messages did go out to the live events on multiple platforms except for LinkedIn. LinkedIn is. I'm trying not to get frustrated with the platform that I've been spending the most time on, but here we are. Sometimes it's just more, less about live stuff and more about the job posts and recruiters, I guess, according to the founder, I guess, or that's rumored to be said. I don't know. Whatever. So in terms of that, let's go back to kind of where I was at here and try and figure this out, y'all, because I am just wow, I'm not much so flustered right now with just the thought of, you know, it's not even showing up. So frustrating. What is the oh, okay. I see what's going on. It moved it to the top because it's happening now. Yay. Okay. Got this a little bit better. A little bit better. Um, but grab my topic. I apologize. I'm just trying to do some troubleshooting, y'all. Anyway, here we are. Let's talk through some stuff today. I think mindset is probably a good thing to talk about today, just because that's kind of where I'm at in my life right now. I'm trying to in that space of you know looking at people that are just basically looking for the next thing to be handed to them, and they're not taking control of their destiny. When I woke up this morning, I had a. Sometimes I will not just have a thought, but there'll be something that I'll hear myself saying. And there's usually some echo. It's like on a stage kind of a thing. I'll hear myself saying something that sounds like I was just on a stage. And so the honest truth was I was thinking about if you want to be satisfied, successful in your life, the honest truth is you have to focus on what you want. And sometimes this is a message from me as much as anybody else, but a lot of times people will um, focus on what they can get, or sometimes they will look at the kind of things that are just going to be given to them, and that is a enormous mistake. You absolutely want to be someone who is focusing in on, okay, what is it that I can do to get what I want. But if you don't know what you want, then that's a problem, right? So I wanted to put this into since I'm talking about IT careers this week, I want to put this in the context of people that are in that space, right? And so honestly, when it comes to that sort of thing, it's, what do you want? Do you want to advance your career? Do you want to have a certain thing? And, very much it's hard to not go back into what I was talking about yesterday to get this. But honestly, I for about 45 minutes yesterday, I laid out various roles within information technology services and how they kind of evolve and kind of be things that you can get into. So today, I think just kind of resetting and saying, look, it's really about what you want as a person. Now, if all you want is money, then there are ways to do that in information technology. But spoiler alert, you will not make money as the kind of as a primary desire. Just making money, yeah, maybe. But if you want to make money, being stuck in a cubicle is not going to do that for you. by and large. I mean, there are a few like unicorns out there, but by and large, getting stuck in a cubicle is not going to do that for you. So if your primary driver, the thing you want is money, yeah, yeah, you're going to have to be doing something else a little bit more creative. You have to do something that actually um, it exceeds what most people are willing to give. Um, and I see somebody that's like trying to join here, but I don't see a camera or a name, and so I'm not going to let you in until you actually are a person to me. So later, try again. Always the risk with putting a link out there like this is that well, I don't do it very often, but I figured we'd try it out. It's sort of like a Zoom bomb kind of thing, only whatever. But so in terms of mindset, the thing that I see most often with the people that are like not clear about their goals is that it causes them to not get the things that they think they want. Even if your goal is making money, then you need to be able to define, okay, how much money? What do you? If it's just a need to survive, then that's easy enough, right? You can kind of look at your budget and say, okay, here's what I need. I need $8,000 every month. Okay. So you can actually achieve a position that does $8,000 a month in information technology. That's actually pretty easy to do. And if you're not there right now and you need to be, then you look at, okay, well, what would it take to get there? That's what I want. I have a desire. Now it looks like, how do I make that a thing? How do I get to that point? And it becomes a matter of setting goals for yourself that align with that. And so it's saying, okay, what are what does success look like? And so maybe it's let's just give an example. Let's say that you are somebody that's working on a service desk right now, and you know that a systems engineer salary would be the right approach to that. So what would it take to get from the service desk to being a systems engineer? So a lot of times it really amounts to getting to the point of saying, okay, well, what does this take? What kind of steps what do I need to develop as a person? What do I need to develop as a professional? How much time would it take? All these kind of things you have to ask yourself. And a lot of times the more you dive into that and be mentored by people that are in that position or have been in that position, or you spend time with um, just kind of with those people, even if they're not willing to mentor you and they don't know how to, that's fine. Learn what they need to know to be successful in that job, and then take the steps. Just break it down into achievable steps. So maybe it is something like grabbing an online course. Hint, hint. It might be something like that, where you can actually get into the the notion of learning, of getting better at yourself. If you're just waiting for someone else to buy you a course, how long do you think that's going to take? Does that meet with your goals? And sometimes it takes investing in yourself to actually move forward. And I know this is really tough for people in IT. I know this because I've been dealing with this for the last 5 years, where people are very often willing to what do you say, like get the handout, I guess you could say, but they don't feel it as a handout. They feel it's their right. They feel kind of entitled to that. And I got to be completely honest with you. The people that I've talked to, and I've had countless guests on Thrivecast, podcasts, all these kind of things, all these conversations. One thing stands out with all of them. If they wanted to achieve something, it was usually them having to step up and learn something new. So if that is part of that, learn what you need to learn. Know what you need to do. It's the same methodology that I encourage people to use with deploying service. Understand first, then you go into a plan, then you go into change, and then you maintain once you're there. So apply that same methodology to what you need to do in your life to get to those goals. Now, let's say you're an engineer currently, and what you really want is to be the person that's kind of more behind the scenes in terms of like designing and things like that. And really, your desire is just not to be on call. You just hate having to interrupt your family. You hate these kind of things. And so, what would it take? That's the desire. If you're waiting for that to just kind of, it's that war of attrition that I talked about yesterday. And so if you are constantly just waiting for that to happen to you, then hey, guess what? You might be waiting a while. I really need to. Um, Sorry, I just realized I failed to put something out there. I need to do so. Anyway, um, if you have that mindset, if you are looking for something other than just money or position or things like that, there's some flexibility there. There's some things you can ask yourself and kind of take that ownership of where you are in life and take that ownership of what you want to be. So let me give an example. In this example, so let's say you're a systems engineer and you want to, what you say to me as a coach, you say, I want to become an architect. And I'll ask you the hard question, why? And if you say, okay, well, I want more time with my family, I don't want to be the person on call, I want these things. And what I'll remind you at that point, this is just kind of how coaching works for me, is that that is not the only way to achieve that. So what else? And I'll have you start looking at like, is a person that delivers pizza on call. And some of them might be actually, but is somebody that's doing like your DoorDash or Uber Eats, are they on call? And they're not really. So in other words, what I'm saying is there are ways to not be on call. You could go be an accountant. You could change your profession completely in ways that don't require you to be on call. And so there are ways to achieve that goal. And so sometimes we have to expand what we want. And so say it's to have this and that and other. Back in March, I actually did a whole workshop on this, and I need to. The content is up on YouTube if you want to look for it. They're all live broadcasts, but it's on goal setting. So I had a whole thing on it called "In the Margins March," where it talks about goal setting and breaking things down into achievable points and saying, okay, here's how to do this. And honestly, when it comes down to it, is you have to be willing to break it down of saying, yes, I want this, and here's the reasons why. And it may be just multiple reasons. There might be something where it's like, yes, I want to have less time on call or no time on call. I want to be the person that is in that kind of authority position of saying, I've learned this technology inside and out, and now I want to prove it to you. And so now I want to be the one making the decisions. It might be something where you want to be somebody who goes live to lots of audiences on YouTube and Twitch and LinkedIn and Facebook all at once, like I'm doing right now. Who knows? Maybe that's you. Maybe that you have some desire to do that, like I do, to where you want to share something and you want to give back. So breaking that down into, okay, well, what would it take to get there? Make that a career path that you actually own. And again, I know this is tough for people in information technology services to hear sometimes, because it really does amount to, hey, you have to take ownership of this. You can't just let it be handed to you. And there are times where that takes investing first of all, your time. Time is like the primary thing we need to invest. Second of all is sometimes literally your cash. Sometimes you have to set aside some of your paycheck to do this. My friend Dan Miller has a great way of putting this. He recommends people set aside no less than 2% of what they earn in a year towards their personal development. I personally like to do between 5 and 10%. But this is one of those keys where if you are willing to set that aside, willing to say, hey, look, this is money for development and it's earmarked for that. And a lot of people question whether they can afford that. Can you afford 2% of your salary going into your own personal development? Yeah, you can. Come on. We find ways to afford. Actually, a lot of people that I know, their trip to get a coffee every morning represents way more than 2% of their income. But they still manage to do it and they're fine. And so sometimes it makes some sacrifices or things like that. Yeah, that is a thing. But if you can take control over that, if you can say, yes, I am allocating 2% of what I earn to personal development. So let's say, well, hey, you know what? Let's do some live math, because live math is always a good idea when you're up on stage, right? So let's say today that you make $45,000, and you want to invest in your career pathway, in what you're doing. So you're at $45,000 a year right now. How much would you need to invest to get to what I'm talking about? How much would that be? How much would 2% of $45,000 be? If you put it in the chat, I think I'll see it. Unless you're on LinkedIn, I think is the only place I don't see chat messages on LinkedIn. But I've got it up on my screen here, and I'll just kind of. Ooh, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. So anyway, I can say hi. See if it shows up. Failed to post this comment. Okay, fine, whatever. Whatever, LinkedIn. But anyway, so the answer is 900. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Whatever. Okay. I need to put that on another computer where it's not going to feedback or whatever. So anyway, the answer is 900. $900 is what 2% of $4,500 would be. So can you afford that? Is that something where you can afford to put $900 towards your career development this year? Yeah, I'd say you probably can. Especially over the course of 12 months, could you do that? Now the other question is what to do with that. There's people that will just go and buy a class that's way more than that. Sometimes there's other things that you can do that are very, very impromptu kind of things, where you just go hire it out kind of things, but or go to a seminar. Sometimes those kind of things do exist. Now, what I'm proposing, just so you know, in fact, I'll just go ahead and put this on the screen, just because I think this is important enough to just say this right now, and that is that what I'm putting forward right now, only for this week, is a way to do that kind of investment, to actually say, I'm going to put this money forward and trust that this guy who seems like he knows what he's talking about is going to be here for me and help me through this career path. This is one of those rare opportunities where it's basically like a combo kind of a deal that I've thrown together just because I want to stimulate this. I want people to take action. I want people to get into the trenches with me and not only help me make the products more effective for helping you, but also at the same time help you and let you become knowledgeable about these kind of things and get a career path and literally get coaching from me. It's something where I hesitated putting this offer on the table because coaching with me is pretty much just as expensive as consulting with me. And just so you know, the very least I leave the house for these days, or get on Zoom or anything like that, I do nothing for less than $125 an hour. And that's only if I don't have to do any work to get there. I'm not putting myself on. That's just like white label services. That's the bare minimum that I ever do anything for, is $125 an hour. So this becomes an exception to that, where I'm saying, okay, I'm giving a year worth of coaching every week, so you can have access to me every single week for a little bit more than an hour. And what would that be worth? And honestly, I didn't know how to price that. And so I've tried to make it as fair as I can and approachable as I can. But honestly, what I wanted to do is make that part of something else. And so that something else is a way to invest in your ongoing success. This is called like a success path, or very similar ways we'll call this. But the bottom line is, we want it to be something where you are investing in a community as a kind of a membership kind of a model, where it is working always towards developing you as a IT professional, not just as here's some more troubleshooting tips, or here's another technology to learn, that sort of thing. And so that's what we're putting forward in this. And so for this week only, if you want to join that, it's $4.99 to join that. What's unique about this particular week is that this is the only time I'm going to do this. As far as I know, it's the only time I'm going to do this. I have to put myself in that position, but of offering it for a lifetime for that $4.99. There are people that will get a special deal when we actually go a full public launch on this, obviously. But for those that are willing to take action now, it's $4.99. So for those of you that are doing the math, if you make $49,000 a year, that's exactly 1% of your annual revenue to invest in that. Now, if you're in the EUC world, which most of the people that are following me are, if you're dealing with VDI and user computing, there's an additional opportunity there. But I wanted to approach this from that standpoint. So just so you understand why I priced things the way I did, is I wanted to make it something that was obviously ridiculous. When you go to the page there, you'll see that it's very, very ridiculous as far as the offer goes. So let me put this offer link. Expires Friday, but it is one of those things where it's like, if you get the full combo, it's literally $11,000 worth of stuff that's available to you. And I wanted to make this so that it was a matching about that price point. About, I think my calculations were 50,000 a year. Actually, I should have probably used that number to begin with. But if somebody's making about 50,000 a year, and I'm asking them to invest 2% of their income towards an investment, that's what I want. Now, I've also made this to where it is a year of stuff. It's not like I'm asking you to do this for a month. I wanted to formulate everything I was doing so that it was over the course of a year. So in other words, you're investing in this as yourself, or in yourself, about what I would recommend doing anyway. But there's a year worth of value there. So you, maybe this is the only thing you do this year. I understand that's what I'm in a lot of cases asking, but I wanted to make it worth that to you. And so that's why we're doing that this particular month, and just this week, actually, not just month. It's just like, I say October flash sale, but really it's just like this week flash sale. So if you're watching this after the fact and it's past October 6th, and you're like, DJ, hey, can I still get that deal? And I'm going to say, hey, person, no, you can't. Only offering it this week. So that's just the way this is going. I want people to take action. I want you to not just hem and haw about it. I want you to wait. I don't want you to wait for the replay, even though it's a big piece of what I'm doing is offering, anytime access to any workshops that I do this year. You'll have the full edited versions of those available to you. And so that's something that is part of this package as well. Again, I want to keep investing in you as we go throughout the year. And in this particular case, it's a ridiculous thing because, for $4.99, I'm going to keep investing in you for the rest of the time that the platform is live. In other words, as long as there is Thrive IT, we'll have this membership up for you. I'm going to give you access to it. What I'm going to be doing in the future is charging $99 an hour. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm still in the consulting mindset. $90 a month, $99 a month for it is the target price for that whole membership. So that's, if you can do the math, that's the value here. But that's eventually what I want to get to, the point of bringing people to a point where they can invest that in themselves. And I expect that, right? I expect that, for me to be able to offer things like this, I need to be in a position where I can help you along the way. And so if you've been following me at all, you know that, I don't do this alone. I bring in others. I bring other perspectives and things like that. That's one of the values of working with me, is that it's not just me as a coach. It's not just me as a content provider or whatever, an author, all these kind of things I do. It's really all these connections that I have that are really coming together all at once. And so that is the true value of what this is. But like anything else, like what I just said, just to recap this and reset that notion, is that if you are going to be investing in your career, What you need to be doing is breaking that down into smaller chunks and saying, okay, if my pathway, if what I really want to do is become the next Mark Russinovich, what does that look like? Well, you can either follow his path exactly or kind of learn the kind of things along the way, but you can't just wake up tomorrow and say, "Hey, world, I'm Mark Russinovich," because you're not, unless you are, and then by all means, I owe you a beverage, sir. maybe a couple of beverages at this point. But the point is, there are people that have made really large impacts on our community, on our world, and to get there, it takes building. I'm not there yet. I don't feel like I'm there yet, and so I'm building right along with everything else. In fact, I put the analogy out yesterday, or it might have been what day is it? Yeah, it might have been Monday or whatever. But the idea of muddy boots pricing, which means that you are part of a being built community. So if this was a community of houses was being built in a development, the first few houses that are being sold will usually have a discount applied to them. Or if you didn't, if you in that scenario and you didn't get a discount, you probably should have asked for one, because it's going to be a dirty thing. It's like you're going to be having what we call muddy boots pricing, because honestly, everything's going to be dirty around you. They're building houses around you. Naturally, there's going to be a lot of dirt, right? And so you're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to replace your carpets way sooner than everybody else in your development, right? So that's something that's discounted on, because that's going to be part of the inconvenience, right? So you kind of build that into the price of those first few houses. Well, that's what I'm doing here. That's what I'm putting forward, is like, okay, there's a way to just have a discounted price, like kind of ridiculous kind of a thing, because I know, yeah, it's going to be developing over time. It's not going to be its final product. I'm not going to have all the answers out there already, because I don't have all the answers out there already, even if they're in my head. I was looking this morning at my phone, just the sheer number of notes, and I'll scroll through. This is just the notes that are here in Google Keep that I've been having. Most of these date clear back to like 2015 or so. These are all these ideas that I have. That's just in one part of the platform. And so there's all these things that, hey, I have up here that I want to get out there. And sometimes the way to do this is just exactly what I'm doing right now. It's just to say, you know what, I'm just going to turn on the microphone and just go. So you get the stream of consciousness stuff. Maybe not ideal, maybe not perfect, but it's out there, right? So it's muddy. So that's a big part of what we're doing. So a big piece of this too is your contributions, and this is where I put the thought forward the other day was, sometimes to be mentored, you have to, or to be a good mentee, you have to learn how to be a good mentor. And so, in other words, there's a giving back to those that are in a position you were, even if you feel like you're not in a great position. Like a lot of system administrators that have been at it for like maybe 3 years, yeah, they often feel like, oh, I'm still new at this. I don't know what I'm doing, and that's true. A lot of times, it is true. They may not know what they're doing, but the thing is, they may know more than the person who has been at it for 2 weeks. And so you can start helping people in that regards and say, well, yeah, I don't know everything, but I have learned this. I have learned these things. And that's basically what a lot of people do with blogs and things like that. It's great. I think that's a great way to contribute and kind of give back. But what I will say about that is that if there's not a relationship there, that it's really hard to curate that. If you had a problem right now today, and I said, yeah, sounds like you have a real big problem, you should probably go search Google for that. How many results would you find for that? It depends on the problem, but just in the technology world, the sheer amount of blog posts you come up with are staggering. And the sheer amount of bad information out there is staggering. And you have to sort through that. And it takes forever to sort through all that, right? Well, that's what we're talking about here is cutting the time down that it takes with that, right? You're in a relationship, and it's like, oh, well, I have to know that you are going to need this, because I've either been through that, or I know somebody who has, or there's something in the back of my mind. So you're tapping into, all of that, because our minds are amazing machines, and they can do that. And I think that's one of the things that I think AI is starting to kind of do, but it's not doing it very well. um, just ask ChatGPT what you think your career path should look like and how to get there. I'll give you a moment, but yeah, it's not going to be good. So, and a lot of times you get bad advice out there too. If they're not in a relationship with you, they'll probably give you bad advice. I've been seeing this in a lot of so-called communities out there these days, and it's kind of tragic. Where you'll see people that are just like, oh, well, you just need to get a bunch of certifications. If you want to get ahead in your IT career, you just need to get a bunch of certifications, and that's all you need. So just do that. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily bad to get certifications. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, going back to the very beginning of this talk, if you don't have a clear picture of what you want, then you'll only really achieve what you think you can get. And if you don't have that clear picture, you'll end up with like, oh, I have to get these certifications and they'll get me the next job. And the next job is just the next job. What is that? That's nothing. Right? That's not worth anything. It's not worth anything to you. It's not worth anything to anything else in the world. And you're not leaving the world better than you found it if you're just doing a job. All right. And I really want people that are wanting to leave the world better than they found it. And when I say that, I should reset that. When I'm not talking about grandiose, huge things like you're gonna go out there and change the world. I'm saying leaving it better than you found it. In other words, if I'm walking along and I see that there's a nail on the road and I pick up that nail, is that going to change the world? No, but it might change somebody's day. They'll never be aware of it, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about little things like that. And so if you have an attitude of doing that all the time in your life, it just keeps building and building and building. I have a whole podcast I did on this one time back in 2019 called Better Than You Found It. Feel free to check it out. It's something I might revive one of these days. Right now, I'm focused more on the IT world than that, general audience. If there's enough demand, maybe I'll bring that back. But right now, this is my focus. But the point is that one of the lessons in that was, look, it's not about these major life-changing things. It's about doing little things. And so when one of those little things is to just have a better orientation about your vocation, notice I didn't say job, I said vocation. And I didn't say career, I said vocation. It's a very big difference here. Sometimes you have people that have a vocation that has nothing to do with their income source. Let that sink in for a minute. Sometimes you are doing work to support the things you actually want to do in your life. This is true of a lot of artists, for example. There's a lot of people that they haven't figured out how to make money as an artist, and so they're literally their own patron. My friend Jeff Goins has a few books about this, but one of which stands out is "Real Artists Don't Starve." It's a great perspective of this, and a lot of people that I know. My camera angle is not good for this today, but a lot of people that I know in information technology are also into music. Friend I'm going to see here in a couple minutes, Steve Greenberg is a good example of that. So he uses the success he's had in information technology to buy other things that are related to music, and occasionally I'll put something out on YouTube that's that. We had Max on our YouTube channel once. He developed a whole software package that the company Citrix bought from him for whoever knows how much, but that was a great way for him to now focusing on music, and so he's actually doing quite well at that. But it was that success in the IT world that allowed him to build into that. And so a lot of times when it comes to that why, that knowing what you want, that's really what I'm trying to enable you for here, is to say, you know what, maybe your career path is not just to do more IT work. Do I look like a person? Oh, I shouldn't ever say, do I look like a person? Because people always get that wrong. They get my age wrong. They get my vocation wrong. They get everything about me wrong. So I shouldn't say what I look like. But here's the thing. I'm not really a person these days that is heads down on my keyboard that much, doing the IT work. Now I do still do that. But my reasons for doing it aren't always financial in nature. I know that might blow some people's minds right now, but my reason for doing a lot of IT work and consulting sometimes is just to get perspectives. It might be also to just stay fresh and things like that. I mean, a lot of the great perspectives that I've had in life, my entire mission statement came from being out there in the field and being among people. Since the year 2000, I've basically done a lot of traveling around to various places of the world, and you know, during well, just after 9/11, I was the day after 9/11, or the day before 9/11, I was actually in Washington D.C. And getting ready for a contract that would send me all over the country for several years, but it was in a different location every night. I was actually with a company called Kinko's, it's now FedEx Office, and I was deploying these little credit card systems. Well, it's not like I just, was there to do that one thing and get out. And well, actually, I was there to do that, but it's not what I did. I talked to people. I had conversations as I was working or in preparation for work or all these kind of different things, and I got to know people's perspectives. And I got to know things about them. That continued on as I began working as a consultant for Citrix and other companies that sent me around again to various places, or in some cases even to a lesser degree when I'm working remotely. You don't get the same experiences. You don't get to know people as well. Although I will say that there's a client I had this last year that was kind of interesting because we'd be on a Zoom call and with the entire team, and he'd be singing a song. He'd be like humming a song along. Kind of became a thing where it's just like if I didn't hear that, I knew something was wrong. Like, oh, hey buddy, what's up? So you get to know people, but their political views, their needs, their challenges in life. You get to know if you just orient yourself towards that. So that's what I did for a long time, and that's what relationships are, right? And so me building that has nothing to do with technology, but that's how I became kind of who I am now. Is really focusing in on, hey, it's not just about the technology for me. I'm not disconnected from it. The technology is still important for me. I still get excited about certain things. Every now and then I'll see something on LinkedIn or a blog post and I'm like, "Ooh, that's really cool," and I'll get geeked out about it. Yeah, it still happens. But the honest truth is, I didn't want to have a that be my primary thing anymore, and I knew that, and so that's why I've been orienting. That's a big reason why I wrote "Just Do This." Actually, was that I knew at some point it would be better for me to teach others than it would be for me to be just working and just doing the thing. In fact, I had an original vision. I'll be honest with you. At one point, I had a vision of having a bunch of people that I coached and trained up once I felt they were ready, working for me as consultants in the field and that sort of thing, and just forming a larger consulting organization. In fact, I'd formed the company. It was called Bot Consulting, BOT, Belt of Truth Consulting. Yeah, it was the thing, but I realized pretty quickly in doing that that wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be the person that was maintaining the sales relationships and all those kind of things that have to happen with that. I realized that pretty rapidly and said, no, let's pivot this and then just say, instead of just doing that, what if I just taught people what I know, and what if I just helped them grow in what they want to accomplish in life. In other words, I see a lot of, well, I'll be blunt. I'll see a lot of coaches out there even that are not really coaches. They're more of just like instructors with an agenda. They say you need to learn this way and do these exact things, otherwise you will not be successful. And you've probably not heard me say that tonight or this morning or whatever it is where you are. You haven't heard that, right? What you've heard is, let's figure out what success looks like for you and what you want, and then we achieve that step by step. We look at what your pathway is for that, and that's what's really important. And so that is my orientation. That's where I'm at. And so, yeah. So again, one more time, the link to, wow, the link to buy this, I think, was taken down. That's very interesting. this week only. I'll just gonna put this back on the chat for this on platforms and see if this works. One more time. No, it keeps disappearing. I have no idea if that's coming up, but it is on the screen. Let's see if I can put this in a caption just so it's out there. This week only. This is not the link. Maybe that's the problem here. Sorry about that, y'all. There we go. So thrive-it.com/40fc23. This is our kind of code for what this promotion is. Once this is done, it's done. It is $4.99 for $6,000 worth of stuff, of investing back into you if you invest into this. Really what I'm asking you to do is invest in yourself. That's really what it comes down to. Now I'm doing this as a sale right now because yes, there's some things that we want to build that if there's no customers for it, I don't want to take that chance. I want to be that person. So I want to see if there's people that are willing to step forward and make this a thing. And so that's part of this, right? But honestly, there's most things that are in this bundle by themselves could be worth more or the same as that. This is just the kind of the one I chose to say, okay, this is our position right here, right? So I have classes that are or courses that are $1,000, right? So it's not, or more actually. There's some that are actually more than that. So it's one of those things where it's like the money is one thing, but really it is just a matter of just getting you used to investing in yourself is what it really comes down to. Here's the analogy yesterday, and I thought this was really good. Thought of this again as I was there today, but the question becomes for a gym membership, how much you pay for a gym membership every month. That's an investment in yourself, right? That's something where you are doing that, and it's a good thing. Well, I found a way early last year, about like July of last year, where I got a thing in the mail about a gym that was going to be opening. And they were saying, okay, if you want to get in now and just kind of reserve a spot, it's $1 to reserve a spot, and then it'll be like $19 a month to be having a gym membership for the rest of your life. That'll be your price, right? Which is a good deal. And so they weren't open yet. It was one of those things where they basically needed the people to commit to know that they were going to have the audience for it, I guess you could say. And so plenty of people did that, and obviously they went forward with it. But when I went to the website to sign up for it, I noticed there was a second opportunity that was pretty limited, and they weren't really advertising the same way. And that was if people wanted to do a lifetime membership, they can invest. I think in this case it was $2.99 for the basic, and then $3.99 for the premium. So basically what that amounts to is like the premium membership is like usually like $48 a month or something like that. I think what it amounts to, but it means that you get that price once, and then you, for the rest of your life, lifetime membership, you just pay a maintenance fee every year. So I pay a maintenance fee of $42 every year for my gym membership, and that's all I pay because I made that investment in them early on. I said, here's that initial $3.99 or whatever it was, and that has now carried me, and I've already gotten the value out of that. I mean, honestly, as far as like the what the premium membership would normally be, right? I've already got that value, so it's a little crazy in that regards. Especially crazy when you go over a lifetime. If I have, if I'm there what I would have been paying every month. I mean, I think I did the math at one point. That it paid for itself. Here, let's do the math. Let's do more live math. 99 divided by, I think it was 48. It pays for itself in 8 months. It's been a year. So it's like, even from that perspective, it paid for itself. So it's a no-brainer for me. I was like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. Let's get on this. And I was not hesitant at all about doing that. I want you to feel the same way. I want you to feel like, you know what? This is a lifetime investment that I can make, and I'm going to be on this journey with DJ, growing my IT career going forward. And this is just, we're going to be doing this together. That's what I want you to think of this from a perspective, is that's really what this amounts to. So there it is. That's where we're at. Um, so this is a little weird of an office hours. I will admit that this is kind of off the cuff kind of thing, but that's kind of what I like about these live things. They're not as organized sometimes. But when it comes to this thing we're formulating, obviously there is going to be a lot of content that I don't share, just for the general populace. It'll be focused because, again, it's relationship based. It's like, I know that you have already been going through certain things. Maybe you've had conversations with me, whatever, or people in the community that align with this. And so we're going to be putting out materials that work with that and work on your career wherever you're at. And it doesn't matter if you're just starting out, if you're on like a help desk or whatever, or even if you're just in school. Actually, some people that have given me feedback well, actually, one bit of feedback was kind of fascinating to me, and I probably should have recorded this rather than write it down, or give me their name, because it was just a random in passing kind of thing. But they said that that Just Do This as a book was worth more than any of their textbooks that they're getting in college. It was like, this was, way better knowledge. That's what I'm talking about here. I want to get that level of kind of premium knowledge in your hands that I wouldn't necessarily give the rest of the world, or that you wouldn't get elsewhere. Uh, as far as I know, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, there's nobody that's doing this from this perspective. There are a couple of programs out there, I know, but they're very few and far between, and very few are focused on your goals, or usually have some sort of agenda behind them, a vendor pushing it or something like that, which is not what's happening here. So I want you to grow at your pace, in your way, and make the vocation that you actually want out of your life. So that's what this is. That's what this is all about. So I look forward to greeting you on the inside. Again, the link's up there on the wait, I can't point. It's backwards. It's over there. Links up there, or just go to thrive-it.com/4DFC23. So good to be with you today. If you have any questions, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. It's probably one of the best ways, even though I've been trashing LinkedIn all day here. It still is one of the ways I do the most connection points. But also feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to get notifications, because it seems like everybody else is kind of sucking right now about the whole letting people know when I'm live, apparently. That might be why not going well. So anyway, that is where we're at. Actually trying to find if I have my LinkedIn page link up here somewhere. I don't. I'm not got the time to put it up there, but that's a great way to do it. That's a great way to do it. And if you're already there, if you're already on YouTube, like I think actually, yeah, 2 of you are watching on YouTube right now as I'm saying this. So click the like button, let people know, and that kind of helps the algorithm know it's something you enjoyed, and so it'll recommend the same thing to other people that are like the same things you like. Is the way that works. It's not edification for me, although it kind of works that way. It's like, oh, that's great that somebody got something out of this today. That's great to know, but it also helps others. And sharing it helps too, obviously. But make sure you hit the subscribe button and that little bell icon to make sure you're notified of when we go live, because that's really, really kind of key here. We want to build that relationship. In fact, in the coming months, we really want to do a lot more on YouTube. Spoiler alert, that's a big reason why we're doing this sale now, is because there's a lot of things we want to do that are going to take some funding to be able to do. So we're kind of pushing people into a limited time offer to kind of entice them to do that, so we can actually kind of reinvest that. And you notice I said we and not I, and that's a big key of this whole thing. Is like, I want to become a we, not an I. And so this helps me do that. This helps me bring people on board to do things either as a contract basis or additional personalities that are going to be helping me out as a either full time or whatever. It depends on how we do, I guess. But that's what we're looking at. So it's been great to be here live with you. Appreciate you for stopping by. And honestly, if you're looking at the recording of this, hopefully it's before October 6th. But if it is before October 6th, I do encourage you to take a look at this. It is really a very unique offering. I wanted to make sure that you have this in your quiver, so to speak. So look forward to seeing there, and I'll be live again tomorrow, the same exact time. All these kind of different channels. I'll be live on all of them once again tomorrow. So I will see you then. Have a great day, and whatever you're doing out there, do these little things.